Unfortunately, this video was supposed to be made 10 minutes later because I wanted to make it faster and I will have a chance to play another game right after this one. I wanted to sum this video up within 10 to 20 minutes. So, what is going on with today's whale fort online at the... I have no idea. This is the Lott Live forum, the June 2023. So, today's topic is going to be about the paid subscription has become an issue to the majority of the consumers, including me. I am a consumer myself. I am an audience myself, and I shouldn't be qualified as a creator for now because I am not really that productive and the quality is not as qualified as a content creator on the today's standard. So here comes the very problem first. As I can see, the subscription problem is being increasingly burdening, including the fact that more and more creators have turned into subscription model, wanting people to pay in the name of supporting them. And subscription is not inherently evil if you are using that much and it is actually useful. But the fact is that users are being exploited this way in short because of the success of the subscription economy by Adobe to start with. Now you already can see a large amount of subscription here. For example, if you go on YouTube today, I will be moving on to the page. As you can see here, this more likely you will see the join button, this one, where you can get access to the membership perks, where you have the dollar you can pay to join and you can support them, right? Check this out. This is another website, Twitter, and subscribe to Declaration of Means, for example. He is also telling you that support your favorite people on Twitter for bonus content and extra perks. And look at this one too. Subscribe. And this is support every month and subscribe to help and keep doing what they are doing. But the reality is that Twitch itself demands more than half. I mean, if you are a creator, you're going to expect that the creator you are going to receive less than half of what the consumers have paid for. For example, the taxes and basically the charge of the Twitch. The bigger problem is that they are increasing the members only content, paywall content. And what is the problem? As I could say, subscription economy, the service you're paying by monthly is not inherently evil if you are actually getting the use of it. The problem is that it is traumatizing the legal users more than it is even means to be supporting the creators at all. Not only that, ever since the boom of the subscription content. For example, if there are people in Patreon or Fanbox, which is specific, I have been seeing those people are setting off the paywall. This is much more concerning when this comes to Patreon instead of Fanbox. Because check this out. So, what I can say is that because people are increasing in piracy in terms of content, the paywall content that has to be paid, right? Imagine you are a audience. Now you paid for it. If you were getting your content as soon as you have paid and it is not by direct message, you just go onto their members only post, get onto it, download it, and you make it, and that's it. But what happens is that if you are sending it through the direct message, so here comes the message panel I used to be creating a Patreon page, and I already have removed it because I think it is an absolute nonsense to me, and I wanted to focus on free content and openness. So, what does the relationship manager do? Imagine you are a creator. You are sending the content through DMs, as you can see. Do it on the mask. What I can do is that if I have released the content, I will have to make a mask, names, the listing, and the select all thingy, and have to create a message pattern and send it to everyone who would pay for it, who had paid for it. So what does that do? If you are a creator and you are fed up with those people who would leak your content through posting, and you have ever engaged with Kimono.party, there's a chance you wanted to hide the content from those scrapping on. And what happens if you do that? You also have the right to actually limit. Will become your discretion if you want to deliver your contents to the patrons. This is a real problem if you are engaging payments with them as an audience, because the creator could be the rightful one, refuse to deliver your content, and then, even worse, blocking you for any reasons. And you couldn't complain in general unless you know what you're doing, because I already have seen this one. If it happens, generally you would still keep the payments the patrons have paid for. And what happens for the side of the patrons? In that case, if you, as an audience, that you leaked someone's paywall content, and then the creator decided that you were violating their policy and chose to block you from doing so, refusing to pay you any content, or worse, replacing the link so that it is tricking the pirates of paying it, of using it, leading to those users who click it onto it, ending up a place they shouldn't be, because that would be like virus or even any cookies that would kill them. Okay, what happened is that it is traumatizing legal users' safety than it is even effective on defeating the pirates at all. And the leakage, if the leakers are actually willing to do so, they could just download the content, copy and paste, and send it to the another users, and the another users could just release the content through another website. That's how I would do that. I used to be, and I ended up a warning message, or it is just a friendly reminder. And thereafter, I decided to remove my patronage against him because I am fed up that the possibility of being received a wrong link specifically to prevent us from leaking, or just that I paid for it but failing to deliver the content they should be delivering. So the another problem I would want to come up is that the subscription is being increasingly expensive. It is not more expensive per single, it is more expensive in the collective term. If you have ever, if you have been surfing on the internet for a while on your website service, you might be noticing the situation that more companies want you to pay on a monthly basis. If you have seen the last video regarding the Duolingo slamming about how they are worsening their service ever since they have removed the forum, you would understand what is going on with them. So the end of the line is that not only they are removing the subscription, removing the forums being out of touch, the subscription thereafter, their quality of service has been going on a downhill, which is that it has become a duty. So coming back to the notebook I have made, I have highlighted this sentence. Our budget, our requirements to actually supporting the users are actually being diversified, and my single wage is not being increased to cope with any of these. So besides that, looking at forward of the newest Twitter blow, I wanted to talk about what is happening with their bots spamming, because one of the posts from Elon would speak that they wanted to make sure the people who wanted to be verified would be paid for to prevent spammers on those who would spam and gaining intentions, right? The problem is that your video, I have been seeing the bots are now creating the verified mark specifically to bypass this kind of things. When you realize that the order in terms of replies, you will see the golden or the silver tick is always the first, as seen by the links from Twitter. Even the Twitter, this official website, has already mentioned about. First of all, you have to pay for the subscription, and then you will have a verified phone number. Another problem with the verified phone number is that if you live in a country where the phone number's requirement is your actual identity being linked into it, you will be screwed if the phone number ever gets breached. And this alone prioritizing rankings in conversations and search. Check this out. This is a Chinese post from Radio Free Asia. It is talking about the Wagner in Russia. Regarding the Putin, it's been overthrown, which is already debunked right now. The main point is not that this post, but look at the replies. Look at this. You already can see that there are multiple videos like this being spammed. And with the sexual content, the spammers on the bots, and there are already few of them have been paying for it. So if I am running a bot farm, what happens to that matter is that imagine I would be running on a farm to spam on something I wanted to create. I wanted to have more intention about it. I run a farm of 1,000 users. And today, the website service told us that now I would be asking you to pay one form of fee, which is monthly or annually. And you will get your rankings of your search, replies, etc. being boosted. And what happens when it was implemented and we do not have the choice of sorting and removing this kind of priority myself of seeing it? If the spammers were paying for it, if I were running on a bot farm, I would actually reducing it from thousands to about tens to 20s, and the overall cost, including the phone number and the monthly charge by the Twitter. Now, I would have a system, quality over quantity. Without the need of more accounts doing so, just have a few being subscribed to the blue, I would have owned a user's post as long as I would pay for it. And it would be really that easy. I would be very making it proud to be making those bots effectively. All those bots remaining would be bargains until they would be needed to subscribe to that once again because of being banned for spamming. The another issue is that when you have to agree the terms of service, I wanted you those no refunds, multiple Twitter accounts. You cannot transfer your rights when you are no longer using it. This kind of hills, these kind of slopes are very steep. You will be ending up paying for that, but now you are no longer using it. You cannot give it to the others who might want it. I know people have to work for it in order to earn what they would have. But the problem is that we are living under capitalism, right? We should be allowing this kind of practice. And because if big companies decided to profit maximization would be always the first thing to opt to do rather than improving the service, there's a chance the big companies would no longer be able to earn any cents, or even worse, getting people to revote, because they can't afford to pay what they needed, not just wanted. Speaking of which, I also have something to clarify on the video I have made about a year ago regarding the Hololive problem I wanted to speak about. I was supposed to not use the Hololive's logo and instead extending it to a much more concerning circle and not targeting one sole company. At the time, I was thinking about Hololive is being the monopoly. No, that is not the case. What I would believe is that there are a lot of creators, because of that, would be drowned into the sea of irrelevance. However, after realizing the individual VTubers doing almost the same thing with Hololive, I'm of the belief that they are creating another form of moral blackmail. I'm already stressed, even if I could get it for free through piracy. I'm now exhausted to explore at all. I mean, Gabe Newell has actually pointed out the problem that piracy is a service problem and not a pricing problem. None of these people, the creators, the majority of those who wanted to be successful, would listen to him. Piracy is not something that nobody wants to pay the content and they want to get it. They don't want to pay any money, but they want to get it. No, that is not the case. Because imagine no one wants to pay your content. They don't want to pay the money for your paywall content. And see if they would be possible to leak your content. And see if you had one leaker to donate those contents to the pirates, and you would see them. And you would realize pirates are just the dissatisfied consumers rather than those who would want you to lose money. You want to make a living, right? But have you actually respected the users who cannot always afford those? That is not just the creators, the big companies too. I have been paying for Patreon and PC Fanboys collectively more than 50 to 70 US dollars per month. I'm tired. I don't get to consume those contents anyway, and that is why I wanted to give those to people who might want it. At this point of direct message mayhem, I don't think I would be interested on any content I wouldn't want. So let alone paying for it or pirating it at all. Because it is no longer favoring me to a level that even if I could get it for free through piracy, it doesn't make any sense. I wouldn't even want to pirate it because it is running out of my interest. Thank you. Lastly, there was a image bot telling those people to be aware that to not flooding too much on those websites. Some of these artists are doing this for a living to have money to pay the bills. What happens is that no one would want your content, which means that piracy would not have any effectiveness on those situations. Yes, that is an announcement from a image board. But anyway, I will just leave this video up. Once this video is properly rendered, I will upload it to elsewhere and you should download it. I don't care if those impersonators, as long as they do not remove any of my identity. Any follow-up will be made by necessity. Goodbye.